Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna sneeze in a second. Hold on. Because I'm definitely gonna be sneezing throughout this. So. Alright. Hopefully that's better. Alright. Starting things off with 30 and a $1.50. Yeah, 21 of 30 for 132. No touchdowns, no. Definitely looked like they were trying to display Hollywood Brown and Rondell Moore. Zach Ertz also had a lot of targets, but nothing too special on their offense when it's really all said and done. Their defense actually did look surprisingly pretty good. Jonathan Gannon did get that pass rush ready. I believe they had 6 sacks. Washington looked decent on offense. Brian Robinson was really the focal point of this game. He had 19 carries for 59 yards and a score. He also had a reception for a score, which was interesting considering that Antonio Gibson's usually their receiving back, and it was Brian Robinson who actually was the one who had the reception for the touchdown. Sam Howell looked decent in his, I'd say first start to some level. Have ran it in for a touchdown. The defense looked really good. Their defensive front especially got a lot of pressure throughout the game. Definitely looks like it's going to be an up and down sort of roller coaster ride for Washington. They had some ups and downs. Their defense definitely held Arizona to the lowest amount of yards. I think it was like 210 and 0 touchdowns. So accomplishment, but I think that's more just quantifying how bad the Cardinals' offense is going to be this year. They really have. It looks like they're tanking in all respects, at least in the NFL level. So, moving on to the next game is the 49ers versus the Steelers. And I believe this game was in Pittsburgh, and they didn't look so great when it was really all said and done. Pittsburgh definitely stumbled out of the gate. This was the biggest opening day loss for Tomlin. The offense definitely struggled. Pickett. Yeah. And my boy George Pickens had an unbelievable catch that was out of bounds and didn't actually count, but didn't really have that much of an impact on the stat sheet when it was really all said and done. Pickett did connect with Freiermuth for a nice little touchdown, and on defense, TJ Watt had 3 sacks and a strip sack, so that's definitely nice, and their defense is definitely going to keep them in games when it's really all said and done. For the 49ers, Purdy looked pretty good when it's really all said and done. He picked up exactly where he left off right before he got hurt. Ayuk was cooking. He had 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really looked great and was just the guy that was open today. CMC also had a nice 65-yard run with a crazy spin, and then just got in the open field and had his blockers. They gave Kenny Pickett a lot of problems. Moving on to the third game, the Titans versus the Saints. Derek Carr actually figured it out in the end when it mattered most. They definitely struggled a little bit coming out the gate, but ultimately it was nice that they got the dub when it was really all said and done. Tannehill on the other side did not look so good, sort of had a clunker of a performance, and will be interesting to see how long he remains the starter when they have 2 budding prospects in Will Levis and Malik Willis. I think that's his name. Yeah, from Liberty. But Derrick Henry is definitely the focal point of the Titans' offense. He's still the engine. He's still stiff-arming. So it's always fun to see that. But they actually did use Tajay Spears a lot. So interesting to see how that backfield develops over time. And Drew Brees was in the house for the Saints. That was pretty cool, and ultimately saw them win. So way to go, New Orleans Saints. Next, we have the Bucks and the Vikings, and this was Baker Mayfield's debut, and he gets a W in a gutsy performance. The Bucks win 20-17. Trey Palmer had a nice touchdown. Mike Evans still looked pretty good. Baker, honestly, has his players playing for him. He looks like he's a fun guy to play for. I'm rooting for him. I've never always been the biggest